Well, you've given me another great segue here to my next question, which is
We try to do that.
critics have commented repeatedly on the strong elements, literary elements of your work, sense of place, the lyrical language, the compelling characters. What do you see as your writing strengths? How do you see all of that?
I like to go to a place and kind of soak it in. And then I like to be able to reflect that back in my writing so that the reader feels like they are in that place as well. That it's not just being described for them, that they are there, that they're feeling, you know, the mucky slap of the peat as it's being lifted out of the bog, that they're seeing the strand of hair as it's lifted in the breeze, so that they imagine the person might still be alive. Things like that, just those little moments. And I often talked with my writing group. I've been in a writing group for, I think, about 18 years. And we talked about, you know, it can't all be poetry. You have to do some sort of exposition and, you know, have sort of plain writing where you're just telling the story and things are just moving forward. But you can create these sort of unforgettable moments as well. And that's something that I really enjoy doing. The other thing I really, really enjoy doing is setting up red herrings and leading people astray and putting them down these paths, because God knows I go down many, many wrong paths as I'm coming up with the story.
Do you outline?
Not at all. You know, here's my outline. Okay. Something happens at the beginning, someone's found in a bog. Then there's a lot of mystery. Then there's a chase at the end. This is my outline, you know?
Sounds good to me.
That's how it usually works.
You know, I have a question that just intrigues the hell out of me to ask, and I know from talking with you earlier that other people are intrigued by it as well. A span of 6 years elapsed between publishing Lake of Sorrows and now coming out with False Mermaid. Why 6 years?
Well, I'm actually quite a slow writer. People ask me how long it took for my first book, and I say 16 years, because I thought about it for 10 years before I ever picked up a pen to begin to write. And the writing of it took 6 years. The second book took about 3 years, but it was because I had, you know, sort of embarked on it while the first one was in process. And then, you know, I had a lot of life changes. I moved. And part of it was that False Mermaid is a different animal from the previous books. The first two books are set in the bogs in Ireland, and they're kind of scientific, forensic. There's a little bit of romance thrown in there. And this third book is much more, it's much less about the science of archaeology and all of the things that the characters are finding out and the sort of mysteries that they are delving into, and it's more about their own lives. And that's difficult for me to write about the main characters. I liked secondary characters as
in this novel, Cormac kind of goes his way for a while, and Nora goes her way. In fact, she goes back to the States.
She goes back to the States, right.
I haven't, how did you handle that? Is it a back and forth play? And
it's mostly set in St. Paul, the first part of it, and then it jumps back to Ireland at various points and goes into Cormac's point of view and the things that he's dealing with as well. Nora's over here, and she is digging back into her sister's unsolved murder. And she's revisiting all of the places in St. Paul where significant things happened. So she goes to Lower Town. She goes to the St. Paul Central Library. She goes to...
Oh, good. We like libraries.
She goes to Hidden Falls Park, where she suspects the murder might have taken place. And
fun.
There's another murder. There's a body discovered in the first chapter that might be related to her sister's death. Similar location, similar wounds, and she's trying to find, is there a connection between these two cases? And Cormac is back in Donegal, which is the northwest part of Ireland, and he is visiting his father, who's been ill, and they have a very strained relationship. The father left the family when he was about 10 years old, and he's seen him very infrequently since then. So there's tension there, and he doesn't quite know what to think of his father. And what I'm trying to do with the theme in this one is to bring up the other world. In Ireland, the other world is ever present. It's another plane of existence that's there, it's present all the time. And I wanted to bring that to St. Paul as well. And part of the reason that it took so long to write as well is that it's difficult. You're sort of blind to your own backyard and what are the the sort of strange and magical and otherworldly things about the place where you live, and you take out the trash and you shovel your walk and do all the normal, ordinary things. When I'm in Ireland, I'm removed from my ordinary existence. And so it was difficult for me to sort of generate the energy that I needed to make this into a similar sort of a story to the previous two. So,
But you were able to do that.
I hope so.
According to the critics, yes.
Yeah.
According to the, yes, what a nice segue. This is what Publishers Weekly says about this book. Rich and delicious, emotionally and intellectually gorgeous. How about that?
Wow.
Shucks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Terrific.
Thanks.
That's phenomenal.
One more question about that. Was
That's
your
about all you
publisher patient with you?
They were very patient. I missed a deadline, turned it in 6 months late, and then it went through a long process of editing. I have a really wonderful editor at Scribner, Suzanne Kirk, who's sort of a
sure.
legend in the business. And she actually retired, but she was still willing to edit my book. So I thank my lucky stars.
And will there be another one? Are you working on another
I'm
one?
working on number 4 now, set
Oh,
back
that's
in
good.
the blogs. And
6
the
years
Back
from
in the
now.
blogs.
Yes,
we'll see.
exactly, right? Yeah, I'm hoping it won't be that long.
Well, you
But-
know what?
What?
We're out of time.
Oh, my
This
goodness.
was so much fun, thanks.
Good. So we've spent a little bit of time with Erin, and obviously we could spend a lot more time with Erin, and we will at some time in the future.
Great, thanks.
But take a look at her books on the screen, viewers. Her books are available at discerning bookstores anywhere you can go in the country and online. And we'll be back in a minute or two. I really like that theme. I could listen to that theme all day, but you probably don't want to. Well, you know what? We've pretty much used up another half hour of our lives on all this, and so I just want to say briefly, what are you working on?
I have a new book that'll be out next fall called The Cruel Ever After
The Cruel Ever After.
Yes.
From,
St. Martin's Minotaur.
okay. And you're excited about it?
I'm very excited about this one. Yeah.
And what else are you working on?
I'm working on something that's out of the series. It has
Really?
it's not a mystery. Well, it is. It has mystery elements, but it.
But it's not part of the Jane Lawless
No,
series.
it's nothing I've ever done before, and I am so excited about
And
it.
you don't want to talk about it too
I
much
really
yet.
don't,
I
no.
don't. I don't blame you. What about you, Mr. Kruger?
You know, we're probably related. I just finished the book that will come out in the fall, and I'm also just completed another work that has nothing to do with the series, and I'm really stoked about them both.
And you're working on something that's I've heard part of the name escapes me at the
Ordinary
moment.
Grace, it's
Ordinary
called.
Grace, which is a really interesting book, and I'm really looking forward to sitting down and reading the whole thing and not getting it in pieces, because I think that's really useful. Well, someday I want to tell you about my new project with my detective, which involves repatriation of art, because I
yes.
read The Monuments Man, which is a phenomenal book about what happened in World War II, and then the sacking of the thing in Baghdad, the big museum, and all of those things.
Well, maybe
It's
one of these
really-
days we can do a segment devoted just to what we're working on.
Whoa,
what we
there's-
have plans for.
there's a thought.
Absolutely,
There's
absolutely.
a thought.
Hey,
Okay.
it's our program. We can do it, right?
We can do pretty much whatever we want. That's it, though, for this program. We've spent that half hour. I want to thank Erin Hart, my co-hosts, Ellen Hart, and Kent Crew. They're not related, by the way. You can find additional information about us at our website. The address is on the screen. It's www.minnesotacrimewave.org. You'll find links to previous programs. You can learn about the books we've written. You can also subscribe to our occasional newsletter. And if you want to receive a list of the books we've talked about, or you want to comment about this program, by all means, email us, MinnesotaCrimeWave@yahoo.com. be sure to mention the title or the number of the program you're writing about. This one is episode number 22. So we'll see you next time, and as always, read more mysteries.